Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I have another ghost story for you. This one's a little bit more recent, in the last 4 years. Yeah, about 4 years ago, 4 or 5. And it happened in my hometown. And it actually began with me hanging out with a friend of mine. Now, we used to live across the street from each other. And we started working together, and that's how we kind of got closer. And I kept having a spirit actually bother me. So at this point in time, I started my spiritual awakening. Like I got my Reikis, and I think I had my level 2 at that point. But if you know me, you know I really don't like dealing with dead people. I think they are very annoying. Yeah, they're very annoying. So I kind of tend to go away from the mediumship. But at this point, I was like a walking, talking medium, or a walking, talking ghost detector, is what I was. And it didn't seem to matter how much I tried to push it down. It was just like headache every time I came near any spirit. And at that time, I was working in an old folks' home. So you could just imagine how awful that was. So, anyways, I was across the street hanging out with my friend, and I kept getting this spirit or ghost, whatever you want to call it, that was pestering me. They wanted to leave a message. And I was like, well, I don't really want to tap in, because once I do, it's just going to be hell on earth for me. So I was like, please, I don't want to do this. And they were very persistent. And I'm sitting there with my friends. I was like, you know what, fine. Why don't we try making our own Ouija board? I actually think it was her idea to make our own Ouija board. Now, I do not recommend ever touching or using a Ouija board, because they are so bad. The only reason we had done what we had done is because we we kind of made it for us. It wasn't an actual Ouija board, and it was using a pendulum, which is this. And so this was our homemade version of it, because I didn't want to tap in. And so I'm talking to the spirit, and it's like, it's telling me that they need to get a message to my friend for somebody in their family. Okay. So we go through and we're doing like, not like letters and stuff. And like they're telling us which letter, and kind of like just slowly spelling it out to get this message. And so finally we get it. And I'm like, okay, there, see, we're good. We're good. And we thinking that is that. No, I should always know when hanging out with that friend. It's never just that. So we go to, we're all done. We're like good. And I'm sitting at her table, and I'm pretty sure she was cooking or something. And all of a sudden, her pots in her cupboard come flying out onto the floor. Like there was no kids right there. It was just us two sitting there, like no animals right there. They literally just came flying out of the cupboard. Like something just came up and whacked them down. And it was just like trying to get our attention. But I'm sitting there going, first of all, what the heck? And then second of all, it was like, but I just dealt with the spirit and told that spirit, and got the information from that spirit so that we could give this person that message, which we had all finished. I'm thinking we're good. No, this was a completely different spirit, a way more persistent one. Like this spirit was so persistent. So I kind of like ignored the fact that the spirit had knocked down the pans and the pots and stuff, and was like, okay, like I'm just gonna go home. And I'm like, and I'm feeling it in my head, like I'm picking up on this spirit. I'm like, no, I'm not tapping in. I'm not going under. That's what I was called, like just to tap into that side. I'm not doing it. And I was very clear. And so we go home, and I'm at home, and I smell this like really strong perfume smell. And I'm like, okay, usually when I smell perfume, it's generally my grandmother. but this wasn't my grandmother. It was a completely different perfume. And I'm like, okay, so this spirit has followed me home, and it's like being persistent. It's like, you're gonna listen to me. And so I was like, no, I'm not. And I put my kid to bed, go to bed, and then just continue to ignore it, hoping it'll just go away, which is not how it works, by the way. And the next day I go to work, and I go, so at that job that I was at before, in the dining room, there's a CD player, like a radio. And every time I go into the dining room, the music shoots up, like it goes really loud. And then you can kind of hear like talking, and then it would shoot down really low, and then it would go back to normal. And then it would stop. And so I did that a couple times in the morning, and I'm like, hey, whatever, like I'm just ignoring it. And then come lunchtime, where we had everyone in there, this radio shoots up again really loud, and it did it so many times. And there was someone sitting at the table, and they're like mucking around with it, trying to figure out what the heck is going on with it, where I'm sitting here going, you've got to be kidding me, because I know that it's the spirit trying to get my attention, because it's the spirit's going, no, like you're gonna listen. And I'm like, no. So I continue to ignore it, just laughing to myself, because people are like, what is going on with that thing? Like they're like trying to like turning it off. Like I remember the person turned it off, and then it would shoot back on again. And it was just like pure torment. And I'm laughing. And then there was a few other girls there that knew. And then so by the end of the day, every time I walked into this dining room, it would do it. By the end of the day, I walked in, and the radio does it, and then it goes really low, and then it goes normal again. And there was a person in there, and they were like, seriously, Shantana, can you just get out? She's like, I just want to listen to music, and you're interfering. And see, it's still funny to this day. So I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll go. So I leave the dining room, and I'm telling my friend, like, oh my God, like this has been happening all day long. Like the spirit is so persistent. I actually am gonna have to do something about it. Now, I wouldn't do it in a place like that as dead people. Dead people. There's, yeah, dead people. Old folks home, dead people, lots of them, so many. So I was like, okay, I will wait. When I go home, we'll deal with it. And so when I get done work, after listening to it do that a few more times, finishing up my work, I go home, and I go back over to my friend's house. And I was like, okay, fine, I will tap in and see what this spirit wants. So, and I have her with me, just because at that point, not comfortable doing it. So I have her with me, and I tap in, and this spirit tells me that somebody, I can't like say who it is. So somebody that my friend knew was going to get stabbed. Now I can't remember how many times they had said that, like the spirit said that this person was going to get stabbed. And I can't remember if it exactly, but I'm pretty sure she said this person was going to die. Whether it was in that moment of when that person got stabbed, or if it was just going to happen, like they were going to end up in the hospital and then later die. That I can't quite remember to my fully, but very clear, this person is going to get stabbed. And I was not supposed to tell specific people, because I didn't want to worry others due to family connections. And I was just supposed to tell my friend. So I did, and I kept it quiet, and we continued going to work. I knew about it. I never said anything. I just waited, nothing happened. And I can't remember how much time went by, but it was a little bit of time. And then one day, my friend let me know that the person that the spirit said that was going to get stabbed did end up getting stabbed and ended up in the hospital. And then I know, I think pretty sure later he died. I don't think it was from being stabbed. It was something from later. So the spirit finally did leave me alone after I let my friend know, like I gave her the message. And then what the spirit told me actually did end up coming true. So not that there was anything that we could have done about it, but at least that person was aware, prepared, and I think there must have been a connection between the person and my friend, as it's just because that spirit tormented me for 2 whole days. I'm gonna say that it was very important. So that is my little ghost story of being tormented at work by dead people. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video, and have a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for watching. Please follow, subscribe, subscribe and like this video for more. I'm going to be revamping a story I posted. I've already removed it, but I'm going to be revamping a story that I've done, as I have come across a lot more information on it. So if you guys want to hear it, I ask you to please subscribe below and like this video for more. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great one. Merry Christmas.